Hey everyone, what is going on? And welcome back to another meta guide. So today we are in the Spring Cup. So the Spring Cup as well as the Open Ultra League begin tomorrow. So yeah, in the Spring Cup you're only allowed to use Water, Grass, and Fairy type Pokemon, and Mantine as well as Toxapex were banned. So you can't use those Pokemon. This meta was around last year. I don't really remember it too well, to be honest. I don't know if we had the same bans. I don't know if Mantine was banned back then or not, but either way, we are in the Spring Cup and it's going to be pretty interesting to talk about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So for the S rank, we got that Galarian Weezing. Galarian Weezing is just so powerful. Look how many grass types there are. Overheat is just going to destroy them all. If you choose to run Overheat, and you probably will run the Overheat as well as the Brutal Swing, because Brutal Swing is a great bait move. I think Galarian Weezing could be really good in the lead as well, because you could always Overheat and then dip out into something else, right? Next up we have Ferrothorn. So Ferrothorn, of course, a really strong grass type, grass and steel type. So it has a benefit of not being weak to ice. It's taking neutral from ice damage. It also has ice coverage as well with Mirror Shot or Flash Cannon should you opt to run one of those moves. Then we have Abomasnow with that Icy Wind update from last season. It will debuff your opponent, so very powerful indeed. Definitely a great lead. Then we have Tropius. Tropius I do think will do really well just because of its bulk for the most part. Obviously it is double weak to ice, so it does have to watch out for that, but if you don't run into an ice type, I think you're looking pretty good, and it has the added advantage of being strong against opposing grass types if it's running Air Slash, which I guess you will be. You're not going to be running Razor Leaf in this meta. Too many things will resist it, like all the other grass types, right? So definitely want the Air Slash on the Tropius. And then Empoleon, so Empoleon did get buffed with the Steel Wing. It does have Steel Wing now, and that is definitely a move that you want. It could do well against the grass types because it's taking neutral from them, but it's also dishing out super effective damage with the Drill Peck. And then the Steel Wing is just a powerful move in general. And then Pelipper. Pelipper could be another good one. It's not weak to grass, it's taking neutral damage, and it's dishing out super effective damage. So I do think Pelipper will be really strong in this meta, especially since the Mantine is banned. For the A rank, we do have Tentacruel, so Poison Jab, Poison Jab, it has Acid Spray, also has access to Scald, which of course we know that 50% debuff chance. Blizzard if you kind of want to get sneaky and surprise the grass types, but it does take quite a bit to get to you. You probably don't even need to, just because you have Poison Jab, and maybe you go Acid Spray Scald. But yeah, I mean, a pretty powerful Pokemon, of course. Then we have Superior. Superior, really tanky grass type, so I think Superior does have the bulk to it. And it does have Aerialace, so providing super effective damage towards opposing grass type Pokemon. Trevenant. Trevenant with that heavy hitting Shadow Ball. We know how powerful Trevenant is. Venusaur or Shadow Venusaur, another heavy hitting strong Pokemon. As long as it can get to the attacks and land them, it's a very powerful Pokemon. And then Jumpluff, so similar typing, not similar, but the same typing to Tropius. It does have Acrobatics, of course. It's really tanky, too. So, yeah, I mean, this is a really good one. It does, obviously, also have that double weakness to Ice. But if you can avoid Ice types, you're looking really good. For the B rank, we do have one of those Ice types I was talking about, Dewgong. I think Dewgong is a great Pokemon, of course, with the Ice Shot, Icy Wind, to debuff your opponent. And because of all the grass types, you're just doing really well, obviously, against the grass type. I mean, to be fair, it is weak to grass as well, so you do have to keep that in mind. But if you're doing super effective damage towards them, that's really good. And then it has the Drill Run coverage for like the Tentacruel, where the ice attacks are resisted. For the Empoleon, ice attacks double resisted there. Even the Galarian Weezing, right? So it's really good coverage. I think Dewgong is really good in this meta. Glaciopod I think is a great safe swap. Yeah, I mean, the Shadow Claws just doing a lot of damage. Really good safe swap. Yeah, I mean, really good Pokemon all in all, I think. It does have the Aerialace and the X-Scissor, whichever move you want to go for the Grass-type Pokemon. And it's also taking neutral from Grass attacks as well. And then we do have Walrein. So Walrein, yet another Ice type with the Ice Shot, Icicle Spear. Pretty fast. Arachnoid. Arachnoid is a really tanky Pokemon, and that Bug Bite, oh man, is that chunking away at all of those grass type Pokemon. You absolutely love to see it. It's taking neutral damage because of the bug typing. It's not weak to grass. Arachnoid definitely has some play. Shadow Mawile, you could go with the regular one. I like the Shadow one, to be honest. But obviously, Fire Fang is the way to go in this meta. First and foremost, you are doing well against the grass types, as we know. But on Empoleon, you're doing neutral damage towards Empoleon, so it's not too bad. You do have to watch out for like the Tentacruel. I guess that could be an issue. But for the most part, you're either Pelipper as well. But other than that, you're doing neutral damage or super effective damage for the most part. So I think Mawile actually has a place in this meta for sure. But with I would say Fire Fang. I mean, you could try Fairy Wind, but I would say Fire Fang is a good way to go. And then for the other options, we have Lantern. Lantern is good, but like, I mean, at the end of the day, do you really want it in a meta filled with grass types? I mean, yeah, if you get it on Empoleon, or Pelipper, or Tentacruel, it's looking pretty good, and you might be able to get it on one of those. But you want, I guess at the end of the day, as long as it avoids the grass types, I guess Lantern can work pretty well. Lurantis is yet another grass type. I do think we have better options for grass type users, but not a bad one. Alola Ninetales, okay, so Alola Ninetales with the Charm or the Powder Snow. Charm, obviously going to be resisted by the poison types like Tentacruel and Galarian Weezing, Empoleon as well, Mawile. The Powder Snow will do really well against all the grass types, so yeah, keep that in mind. And then we have Poliwrath, so Poliwrath could do decent as long as it avoids all those grass types, but I guess it would be fine against Ferrothorn. But for the most part, it really does not like grass types. I mean, some of them it could do okay against. I mean, Superior, the counters are going to be adding up, and you do have Icy Wind as well. So you do have some pretty good coverage, but it also needs to avoid other Pokemon like Pelipper. Doesn't really want to see Tentacruel either. Glaciopod, Walrein. Actually, no, it wants to see Walrein, but it doesn't want to see Glaciopod. So, yeah, not a bad one, though. Celio is another one. I think Walrein's going to be better, but Celio, of course, the spammy Body Slam. For Alligator, we saw a big update this season with Shadowclaw. It's a really, really great Pokemon for the Open Great League and the Open Ultra League. But when it comes to this meta filled with grass types, I just don't know if it's going to have that much play in this meta. You might see it here or there, but I don't think it's going to be as common as it currently is in the other leagues. And then Carbink is decent, but again, the grass-type Pokemon kind of hinder it because it is weak to grass. And then Chestnut, so Chestnut yet another grass type. But again, I do think we do have better grass-type options in like the S, A, and even B tier. But that's going to be the Spring Cup for you. Let's go ahead and move on over to the solid team options. So for the first team, I do have Empoleon with double grass. So the backline is going to hate fire. For example, the Fire Fang Mawile, right? The backline cannot go up against it. Empoleon is taking neutral damage from it, but it's also dishing out neutral with the Steel Wings, and plus it gets to the Hydro Cannons really fast, so you can handle the Mawile with it. Probably want to lure it out, maybe with the Jump Bluff, if there is one. I don't know how common Mawile will be, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we have Shadow Mawile in the lead with double water, so Empoleon and Tentacruel. So yeah, I mean, this whole team can handle grass types because the backline takes neutral from grass. Mawile resists grass attacks. It's also doing well against it. So the grass is going to be all over the place, I think. At least a lot of the top Pokemon are grass types. So if you see a grass type in the lead, you're looking good, right? Because the whole team can handle grass. So I actually think I'm liking this team, I think. We'll have to see. And then next up, I do have Dewgong in the lead with Galarian Weezing, which I think is a pretty good safe swap in this meta. And then Ferrothorn. Of course, if we do safe swap Weezing, don't know if you really want to throw the Overheat, because if you throw the Overheat and they shield, you're going to debuff yourself. But it all depends. They might call the bait and everything like that. Next up, we do have the Abomasnow with the Arachnoid and Galarian Weezing. So Arachnoid, of course, going to be doing really well against all the grass types. This whole team, again, another whole team that does well against grass types, right? Because you do have the Ice typing with the Abomasnow, and then Arachnoid with the Bug typing, going to be doing super effective damage towards the majority of the grass types. Not the Tropius, right? Not the Jump Bluff, not the Trevenant, but it is doing neutral damage. And then you have the Galarian Weezing that you could use as a closer. Next up, we have Tropius in the lead with Glaciopod as the safe swap. We also have Pelipper in the back. There's really no electric types that you have to worry about. This team would struggle against Carbink. The Tropius you would want against a Carbink. The backline wouldn't like it. But again, as I said, I don't know if you're going to see a lot of Carbink. I guess to be fair, the Abomasnow team, the one above it, that would struggle against Carbink as well. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. But again, I don't really feel like it's going to be too common. And then the final team is going to be Superior in the lead with Shadow Mawile and Empoleon, or the Shadow Empoleon if you choose to. But anyway, these are going to be my team ideas for the Spring Cup. Let me know what team you plan on trying out in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.